classic book. Today, we are going to the American expert James Creel. Habit of Child. Have you ever thought about those small, look insignificant, for reading one more page, or eating a piece candy, every can really change our lives? It sounds like a bit a tale, right? We always think that we want to achieve great success, have to make change. But this book tells us a very powerful secret, that the result is often those small habits are invisible. Imagine the British self-driving team. They used in the 100 years. They are the little transparent in. Not to the bike race. Even the gold medal has only won. Even the top bike manufacturers are not willing to their cars to them, fearing that will affect their brand image. It sounds a bit miserable, but in 2003, a miracle happened. They invited a new coach, Dr. Braceford. This brother has a strategy sounds bit called editing and zany. To honest, it's a dead end. In all the things that they are to even by 1%. It sounds simple. They are just changing the power or using alcohol to wipe the tires to increase the grip. They tested various massages to which one can restore muscles faster. They asked a surgeon to teach the members how wash there to avoid the cold. They even the rear-wheel drive white to make find those may affect the equipment performance. These improvements are not trivial, but the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games, British cycling team, took away the local cycling project like 4 years later. London Olympics, they broke the 9 Olympic records and 7 world records, not to the continuous years World Rally. If you step 1%, you will almost zero. This is amazing, right? Habit is like self-improvement. At first, it's not eye-catching, but the longer, the more amazing. We often overestimate a certain decisive moment, but underestimate the persisting in small and improvements. Why? Because the change is too slow. We ran a month, and our body didn't to change. We learned foreign language and felt like a vegetable bird. If see the dry, and it's easy to vent and return the old look. This is the so-called potential to maintain the season platform or the valley. Like heating ice cubes. 0.5 degrees to 0.1 degrees the cubes are moving, but your efforts are not in the energy continues until it breaks through the melting point of degrees. Many so-called overnight fame is actually the countless days and of accumulation. So important is not how successful or how failed, but whether your habits now lead you to the direction. No choice is for you. These unobtrusive habits will eventually decide the direction life. Like the flight line, even a few degrees, the destination will be thousands of miles apart. Knowing that the astounding power is only the first step. So how can effectively use this power? Instead of between the new year and the halfway. Many people will say that setting a big goal is enough. But this book tells us that excessive attention to the goal may be for our failure. Next, let's talk about why Hong Wei's goals often pit us, and you should really pay to is your system. We just talked about the amazing welfare effect. Those feel like opening the new world. Know the small changes. Many people may think, that's easy. I'll set a big goal, then use willpower to break into small habits. Sounds very burning, right? But the habit? This book is to pour us basin cold water. If you only look at that far bigger goal, it very likely you will fall into the old pit. We have been set education since to be clear. The is whether it, the high score or work to get first or to practice 6 abs. Author, James Creel is the same. He was also a goalkeeper. His studies, fitness, and career. Some of were successful, but more of failures. Later he found out what kind of results it his goal, but it, to the system he brings. So what's a system you want, Chris? Simply put, goal is you want to achieve. For winning the championship and 1 million, or learning to a new song. And system is the tool that can lead you to the results. For how do you recruit players? How do you coach team? How do you train? How do you test products? How do you recruit employees? How do you promote? How long you practice? How you solve the points? How do you receive feedback? Now, think about an interesting question. If you completely ignore the goal and only focus on your system, will still succeed. Imagine that you are a basketball coach. Your goal is to win the championship. But if you completely forget the championship and only focus on daily training, tactical training, and the training of will your team still achieve good results? The author believes that answer is certain. Just like playing basketball, your goal is to the highest, but you can't just watch the scoreboard. What really makes you win is the daily training and every correct action. As 3-time Super Bowl champion coach Bill Walsh said, the score will take care of itself. The other aspects are also like, if you want a better result, then think less about goal, pay attention to your system. This doesn't mean that the goal is completely useless. The goal can you a clear direction, but the real push you forward is system. Over-concentration on the goal will bring several major problems. The problem is the winner and loser may same. Every player wants the gold medal. Every player wants to that job. If the goal is the success failure, why the same people with, but is so? Think about the British self-driving team didn't want win French championship before? The goal has been there, but until they built that continued to improve 1% the trophy. So the goal itself cannot guarantee success. Second question, goal brings is usually temporary. Imagine your room is like a dog's. You set the goal to it, you work hard. Spent the whole afternoon. The room is a little bit. But if you still keep the throwing and storing garbage, the causes the room to change will take long. The room will recover its. You have look forward the cleaning and motivation. This is like not being able goal. Achieving goal only changes the result, but does not change the fundamental cause. If want get a sustainable improvement, have to go deep into the system to solve the problem. The third problem is goal will limit your happiness. We often ignore that when I achieve this goal, I will happy. This will happiness to a certain uncertain node. The has trapped in this trap for countless times, always thinking about how many muscles, how he relax after. And the also creates a kind of success that either you succeed achieving goal or you fail if. But there is more one. Why we have defined our own happiness, and the system's thinking is the opposite. When you fall love the itself, instead of obsessed with the final result, you can feel satisfied and happy. Because as long as your system is, you will improve. The will be with long-term progress. The direction of properties is to produce the 6-ball. Many marathon runners have worked hard for months. Once crossed the finish line, immediately stop training. Because that, their goal has disappeared. When all your efforts are only for a specific goal, what you rely on to continue moving forward. This is why many people will return to the old habits. Setting goals is to win this game, and building system is to keep playing. The real eye-catching person is about how to continue to improve, how to keep improving, instead of certain failure. So if you find that your habit of is always full of problem, may not be you lack willpower, but that the use change is wrong, you will not improve your goal, but only drop to your system. Focus on overall system, not the single goal. This is the key, understanding the importance, we a step. But is it have good system? Is it possible? Even the system is designed well, something will still hinder us from moving forward. This thing is our identity recognition. Next. We talked about changing habits, but the goal is to improve our system. But the habit, this book tells us something than the system. Who are you, or who do you think you are? Sounds little mysterious. Don't worry, let's rappin'. Writer James Clear said there are 3 levels change, like in one layer is, in one layer. The outer layer is changing you. For losing weight successfully, publishing a book, winning a competition. We usually set most of the goals on this layer. The middle layer is changing you, which changing your habits and system. For start a new fitness plan, organize your desk, and practice meditation. Most of habits are on this level. And the core, the deepest level, is changing your identity recognition. This level concerns your beliefs, your worldview, your views, on. When many people change their habits, they often go from the outside to the. They first pay to the result, and then think about what action. This is based the result. But this kind way is often difficult to maintain. Why? Because you haven't changed the core identity recognition. Imagine a smoking scene. Someone gives them a cigarette. The person said, "No thank you, I'm trying to smoke." It sounds reasonable, right? But he still thinks he is trying to do something else. His beliefs have changed, behavior is repeat. The second person said, "No thank you, I don't smoke." See, this slight difference in is a huge change for him. Smoking is already in past. He thinks he is the needs to smoke. This is the of the habit. He insists on changing think about what I want to be first. What healthy person do? Efficient person do? A creative person do? Why is identity recognition so important? Because deep inside of there is a kind, strong power to maintain behavior and identity. If your behavior is from your own awareness, this kind behavior is difficult to maintain. You may want to be richer, but if deep think you are a consumer, but not a creator, then you will be to spend money, not to make money. You may want to healthier, but if you always define yourself as comfortable person, then you will be sofas and snacks. But not to the gym to sweat like rain. Your old identity will be like a hidden oil sandwich, constantly pulling you back that and destroying your new plan. There is a named Brian Clark in which very interesting. He has a bad habit, and many times, but he can't change it. One day, he made up mind not only to stop biting nails, but also something unexpected. He asked his wife to reserve the first professional nail clipper. His idea was that if I started to money to take care nails, wouldn't bite them. As was surprisingly good, but reason was not money, but after his nails looked so beautiful. He started of his nails. Because of this pride, he completely broke the bit of biting nails. He is longer the one who bites nails, but the one has beautiful nails and is proud. You see, real change is the change. When you a habit into a part, it has the strongest inner drive. Saying that I want to be like this is one thing, and saying I am like this is another thing. So how are identity recognition formed? It's not natural. Every habit of is actually creating and enshrining your identity. Period. Private. You are creating an AA with of. Every day you write, you are creating an A creative person. Every day you exercise, you are creating an A who loves sports. You repeat some actions, you are strengthening the identity. The word identity means that exists. Your identity is the person. So it's actually very simple. There too, the first step is decide what kind of person you want to be. Healthy person, a filial person, reliable person, a loving person. First, clarify this inner goal. The second step, through a small victory, yourself that you want to be healthy. Start with eating a fruit every. If want to be a writer, start with writing a sentence every. These small actions are just piece of vote. Vote for you want to be. One action can't change anything, but when these votes are more and more, the evidence is more and more, your self-awareness will start to change. This is the habit. It's just to get you a result, such healthier, richer. More importantly, it can help you, the kind person. You are the combination. We, the identity recognition for the growth of. We found the Beiji Sing. Next, it's time to understand the specific mechanism. What kind of process is? Let a behavior from the need to think. Next, we will disassemble the 4 magic steps. See how to use them to design the we want. After the habit of creating identity, do you want to know what habit itself is all about? It's like an automated program, always behind thee, and affects our every move. What this little program written, and what kind of logic is running in atomic habit, reveals the all habits. A simple 4-step model which contains 4 parts: hints, desires, reactions, and rewards. Whether it's good habit or a bad habit, it's simple habit or complicated habit, all go beyond these 4 steps. They gears, pulling us in. The first step is a hint. The is like a trigger. It's a tiny piece. It indicates that a reward may be nearby. For example, your phone screen is on, and a new message. This is a hint. Or, you walk into a room you can't see. This is also a hint. Or you pass by A and smell the smell. This is also a hint. Our ancestors paid to the food, water, or safety of, and we modern people are by the money of, love, or just satisfaction. Drive your brain to scan environment to find context that can bring rewards. With the hint, come to second step, desire. Desire is each habit. There's no reason to act, but the key is that we are always for habit itself, but the this habit can bring. You don't really want to. You want the short relaxation and stress relief. You don't want to. You want the refreshing after. You don't want to turn on TV. You want to be entertained and relaxed. It's essentially to change your inner feelings. The brain receives a hint and predicts a certain behavior, can bring changed state. Desire is produced. For example, phone thinks of hint. You want to know the information content. Eliminate the anxiety. Desire smell the bread and smell the hint. You want to taste the fish flavor. Desire is the third step. Reflection. This is you actually take. It's the habit. Could be an action. It could be an idea. Will you react? Depends on your desire is and how it is too. If an action requires you put more than you want, you may not do it. For rings a warning, you want to the so you pick up phone and read the message. Smell the scent warning, you want to the desire. So you go into the and buy a bread. Go into the dark room warning, you want to the desire. So you touch the switch. The last step is also an step. Reward. Reward is the ultimate purpose. It has 2 core functions. First, to satisfy your desire. Second, to educate your brain. Eating bread satisfies your desire to. Seeing information satisfies your desire to. Open the light satisfies your see. This sense of even, for the time being, will make your brain feel that feeling is good. At the time, the is also telling the brain, hey, that reaction was useful. Remember you encounter similar tips next. This completes the whole habit loop and strengthens the repeating this behavior. So these 4 steps tips, desire, reaction, reward, constitute a continuous loop of feedback. Loop tips trigger desire, desire to drive reaction. The brings rewards. Rewards satisfy the desire and are related in end. You will an automatic habit. This habit will too. It forms our life. The author also these 4 steps into 2 stages. The problem stage is tips and desires. You realize that something needs to be changed. And the solution is the reaction and reward. You take action and get the result. For you feel bored and want to entertained. This is the problem. Pick up your phone in a short video. This is a solution. Understanding the 4 models is like getting a broken down surgery knife. We know how the habits work. Then we can use that to design the good habits or accurately break down the bad habits. The behavior change 4 rules are based on the 4 models. So what these 4 rules exactly? How should we use them to control our habits? Next, we will with the first rule. How to the tips of nowhere to it's, to you want to it. We have already broken down the 4 steps, the tips, the desire, reaction, and the reward. We understand this habit maker. Next is learning how to operate it. The habit has taught us simple practical behavior, changing 4 rules. They are like the 4 key buttons which can us easily develop good habits and remove bad habits. Today, let's press the first button first. The first rule, to it obvious. Do remember, the habit return is a hint. The hint is that triggers your action. Problem is that many times, we don't realize what kind hints and behavior automatically occurs. For are you always in a specific time or place and you want to take out phone and brush, or you want to turn on TV? These have integrated into our lives, becoming hard to notice. The Japanese railway system has a very interesting operation called index confirmation. When staff is performing each step, they will shout corresponding equipment or signal with signal, green, speed, normal, station. Safe. Sounds a little stupid. But this method can greatly reduce the error rate. Why? Because to increase an unconscious habit to the unconsciousness, we need to give our own life and install such an index confirmation system to improve of our own habits. So how can we the habits tips become obvious and the bad habits ticks disappear? This book gives us 3 big moves. The first big move is called the execution intention. This move is those I want, but always forget to or have no time to do the delay. Don't say I want to exercise or I want to learn English. You don't know when to start the program. You need give yourself a clear time and place to it. The is very simple. I will a certain time and place. For I meditate for 1 minute, or I will study Spanish 20 minutes. When you plan to this extent, it is equivalent to setting a clear alarm and GPS. By then, you don't have to hesitate to do it or not. You just need to the preset program. Many times, what we lack is motivation, but clarity. The second big trick is called the habit of stacking. This method is even clever. It uses the habits the behaviors will be other. Just like the dominoes. An action will trigger next action. For you, get used, you will wash your hands. The habit of stacking is to develop a new habit. It goes to where you can't move head. You will used to it. The is that after my current habit, I will make my new habit. For example, after I finish coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I take off work shoes, I will immediately change into sportswear. When I sit down and eat dinner, I will say something is worth thanking today. The key is to find a reliable that happens every as a starting point, and new habit behind you. In a way, the new habit will naturally be in your daily life. It's easier. The third big trick is environmental design. This trick is the great because the environment creates our behavior. If you want a good habit obvious, then rearrange your environment. Want to read more books? Don't hide in the corner of, put on the on table. Let it remind you. Want to eat more fruit? Don't put in the freezer. Buy a beautiful fruit basket and in the most conspicuous place room. The used this trick to himself, fall in with eating apples. Want to remember to vitamins. Put the medicine bottle next to the water cup. Want to practice playing instruments more. Put the guitar or piano directly in the middle of, not in the box. Let the habit of hinting become the most prominent part on. Contrary, we have reverse operation. Let his hints disappear. Don't want to snacks anymore. Hide them in the highest level or don't buy at home. I can't help but use phone. Put my phone in another room. If to watch less TV, pull out plug after it. Even move it out of the bedroom. Increase the difficulty of just a little bit. Effect may be. Remember, we are born to choose the efficient and most conspicuous way. So the behavior change is to make the clues know where to so that they can guide you. Use the intention of the habit of stacking and the environment design. These 3 tools, you can set up a smooth starting track. But is the hints obvious? If that habit itself makes you feel very boring, very painful and unattractive, even the is obvious, you may still interested in it, right? So next we need master second rule. How to good habits attractive to you willingly. We just learned how to good habits become obvious, and it guide us. But this is just first step, and just seeing the compass is not enough. We have willing to in that direction, right? If a habit itself makes you feel tasteless, even little painful, then even the hint is obvious. It's difficult to persist. This leads to the second rule, which is it attractive. Think about it. Why are we always more easily addicted to short videos, eating junk food, or playing games, rather than insisting reading, exercising, or learning? Because the former can often provide timely, strong attractiveness. There is a biological reason. We have a kind of nerve system. It is often mistaken for a happy person, but fact, it is like a looking forward or motivated person. Scientific research found that dopamine is often heard when we look forward to receiving reward, not when really receive reward. It is this sense that we call desire that drives us to take action. The area is, then the area like, can be said that drives our behavior is for beautiful result. Modern society knows how to use this to seduce us. Think about those carefully designed garbage food. They compare salt, fat. There is also a dynamic comparison. The accurately finds the stimulating your brain, making you unimaginable. The constant likes and comments provide us in real life. These are super long stimulation. They are our original desire, extremely attractive. Let us grow into a diet addicted to the internet and other habits. So how can use this mechanism? Let those really good us also become more attractive. The first trick is called seduction binding. This method is to a you want to with you need to for. Example, Sori mentioned a student. She likes to Netflix, but she also knows that she needs to exercise. So she changed her own motion sensor single car. Only when she rides at a certain speed, the connected computer can play Netflix. Once it slows down, the video stops. You see, she wants to do and what the car needs. You want to the latest gossip news, but you need exercise.
You can watch entertainment magazines. You need deal with the of emails, but you want to a beautiful footwear. So you can do footwear while handling emails. Using the Pulemark principle is to high-quality behavior to drive low-quality behavior. Let those boring but necessary good habits also be with little bit seductive light. The to enhance attractiveness is to use social norms. We are group animals. We are born to desire sense, hoping to integrate group. To the recognition and respect. This kind power is so that we often unconsciously imitate the behavior. We imitate three types of people. First, close people, such as family and friends. Research found that if your good friend gained, chance would increase by 57%. On the behavior, habits the slander and colleagues work will affect you. So want to good habits, stay those already have these good habits. The is one, the majority people. We naturally tend to follow of group, even if this rule is necessarily the best. Psychologist Ash's classic experiment proves this. Even if you obvious wrong answers, if most people in are only angry, then individuals may give up their own judgment and choose to obedient. So, a social group or circle important. When you read, get early. Your circle is a normal time, to these habits. Because you are in fusion, not in confrontation. 3. People influence. We worship those have higher status, reputation, and ability. And will imbibe their behavior. We want learn the strategy, imitate the style. If an action can win respect, recognition, and praise, we will feel it is extremely attractive. Think about the three sisters of our going. The reason why can decades. In addition to their own passion, the parents and the family culture are them to push and reward them. So the law is to ask yourself, how can make this habit look cooler, more interesting, more by the people I about? By seducing the bound to increase the fun, by integrating into right circle, get sense. Let the attraction of sound. Okay, now we know how to the habit more obvious. We also know how to habit more attractive. But if this habit is particularly difficult, it's very troublesome. The more obvious and more tempting the habit, I'm afraid it's hard to stick to it. Don't worry, the next part will solve this problem. Learn how to use the third law to make easier. We have mastered making good habits become obvious and attractive. Your brain should be easier to notice the hints and be more willing to try them. But if this habit is as climbing a mountain or as complex mathematical problem, then it is hard to last. Don't worry, this is the next obstacle. Welcome to the third rule, let it be. Have you found that we humans are born lazy? This is not a simple word. The atomic tells us. Our brains are over millions years and born to the most efficient way. This is called the minimum effort rate. Energy is precious. The main task is to save energy. So in two similar options, we will unconsciously choose the looks easier, more convenient, and more effortless. Think about it. Why can we easily spend a few hours, but hard to read an hour's book? Because the former almost does waste the blow. Every habit is set to achieve a certain result. To lose weight is a barrier. If to calm, meditation is an obstacle. If you to think clearly, writing diary is an obstacle. What we want is the habit itself, but the habit. The bigger the habit. Us and the target, the friction. The bigger is too big, if power is enough, is difficult to continue move forward. So the rule of the core idea is to reduce friction so that execution the habit becomes as a wave. How to it? First use the environmental design, but this time the focus is on simplifying action. The wanting to habit of going to the gym. It's to choose a good on your way to from. This way you can finish way, without adding any extra trouble. You want to exercise, you can the fish store directly on the floor, instead of rolling it up and putting in the cabinet. If you want to drink more water, put a water cup every day you can. And good habits, even a tiny step, the Japanese manufacturers have settled down. They keep eliminating unnecessary actions and waste. Even the workers turn around and take tools. Ultimately, greatly improves efficiency and product quality. What we have do is your life. And to get the effect of, secondly, learn how prepare the environment. This means that you need prepare and make the future action super simple. Think about it. If you want to have a healthy breakfast instead of in and getting messy, why not just the pot bowl in basin and even prepare and seasonings, and in the most convenient place? The morning. Do you feel the difficulty of is instantly reduced? Want to a habit? Put the brush, paint, and paper on the desk, and you can start. If keep exercising, pack your sportswear, shoes, and water bottle in and training delivery at the door. This strategy is to the preparation work from the actual action. Through a little bit effort can clear obstacles. On the hand, we can also increase friction to prevent bad habits. If you watch too much, can pull out plug or take out the remote control battery. You can't help but play with put it in another room, or just set up a temporary lock. Increase of implementing bad habits, even if it's just a few seconds longer, may effectively prevent impulsive behavior. Finally, period is a very important trick, which the 2-minute rule. This rule's simple, rough, but extremely effective. When you start a new habit, make it in 2 minutes. Yes, you heard it right. Just 2 minutes. Read before become a single night book. Do 30 minutes yoga. Become take out yoga mat. Run 3 kilometers. Become wearing running shoes. Why do you do? Because our biggest challenge is the beginning. Once you start, even if it's little bit of it will be easier. The 2-minute rule is not to let you do 2 minutes, but to you easily cross the threshold of the most important skill is a habit must be established first to be optimize and improve. First, standardize, then optimize. When you can continue to dojo, even if it's just 2 minutes, you vote for you want become. Slowly, you will find that these 2 minutes will naturally extend. It will become a larger action start or entry habit. So the third rule tells us not to pursue but to pursue a relaxed start, continuous action, reducing friction, preparing environment, and using the 2-minute rule. Make the good habits into the smallest, the easiest way execute. Okay, now we've good habits become conspicuous, tempting, and simple. It sounds perfect, but there's one last step. If a habit is simple, but there is no feedback it feels like a C. How think you can hold on? That's right, we need to good habits feel satisfied. This is the fourth rule, let it make people feel good. We have already gone through the first 3 rules. Let the habits be full of attraction. Let the action simple and easy. By doing these 3 things, you start a good habit. But there's also an important question. How can this habit really stick with you, so that you, by day, year by year? This requires our 4th rule, which makes it surprising. Behavioral has the most fundamental principle. The author calls it basic rule. The reward will repeat. The punishment will avoid. Our brains are to be weak. A pleasant experience, even if it's just little of a sense of such, using a fragrant fragrance, a rich foam bath, like of Shuli's promoting hand washing, in or brushing a fresh mint scent will send a signal this feeling is good, and time will necessary. This sense that makes a behavior more likely to us and executed, but here is a key point, which is the modern people's good habits. Our brains are very favoritism to meet in. Think about our ancestors living in an environment we return in, and something food. When we in danger, we run away. Most of after thousands of years of our brains are set to consider the benefits and happiness, but the society now is a form of delay. Today we work and may take weeks or even months to get bonus. Today we keep exercising and it may take months or even years to see the physical changes. Now we saving money. It may take decades to enjoy old days. Good habits, such as hard work, self-discipline, are at the present, while the profit is in distant future. The habit is the opposite. Its profit, such as the relaxation of the sense, can obtained, and the cost, such as health damage, is postponed to future. Facing this kind mistake, our which loves to be in often chooses the latter. This is why we need 4th law. We need give those with long-term benefits a little bit and reward, so that the brain can taste the sweetness and more motivated to persist until those delayed, real returns slowly appear. How do it? The key is to the action itself. A very effective method is to use habit tracker. The easiest way is to a diary. Every time a good habit, draw a big difference. The comedy master Jerry Song Fei used this method to insist on writing jokes every. His goal is not to cut this chain. Looking at the calendar, it is a powerful visual reward. It clearly proves your efforts and progress, which you unable to bear to destroy this perfect chain. You can also more specific methods, such as the stock agent, prepare 2 cans, a 120-pin needle. Every time you sales call, you place a return needle from a full can to a can until it's gone. This kind practical progress can bring you instant sense, give you more motivation to complete mission. In addition to tracking, we can actively add a timely reward. Remember, this reward is to keep your long-term goals and identity consistent. For your goal is to healthy, so the reward can be a relaxing massage rather than a high-heat junk food. If you trying to save money, then when you can transfer the money to a dream fund account, such P1 or European travel account. The number of accounts increases, and the sense of is then the simple restraints. The 4th law also has its counter-application. Let bad habits not quick. If want to bad habits, then find way to them have bad consequences. One most effective ways is to invite a question partner or sign habit contract. Find someone you trust and look law with. Or just make an order. If you don't make a good habit or a bad habit, you have to bear some consequences. For we don't want to impression in the eyes of this social pressure can bring bad habits or good habits is often a painful cost. Therefore, is restrict our behavior. So the 4th law is to use the reward to strengthen good habits, the price to weaken bad habits. Let every small success bring profit, and let every deviation pay price, so that the behavior can continuously. Pause. The 4 major laws make it obvious. Let it have attraction. It be easy to change. Let it make people feel good. We unlock it. This complete system can help us all kinds of challenges. But we all know that even there is perfect system will be when the chain falls. So when we do it, how we recover and avoid giving up. This is our next part of discussion. How to with the broken moment. We have explored the fourth rule, which people satisfied. We have how to immediate reward. Habit tracking. To a good habit more satisfying. Looking at extension of the chain or saving more can really huge motivation. But we all live in real world, right? The real world means that accidents always happen. No matter how confident you are, how determined you are, habit chain will be interrupted. 1. It may be you suddenly sick, maybe temporary business trip, or maybe that your needs you to more time and energy. At this time, many people will feel depressed, even self-abandoned. Oh no, it's a failure again. The money is out of way. This idea is very dangerous because it's easy for you to give. So when the chain of is inevitably broken, what should do? The habit gave us a simple but extremely important principle, the golden remedy for never miss twice. Yes, you heard it right. It doesn't matter once. You can forgive. People are not saintly. Life is unexpected, but the key is never to allow yourself to miss twice. I'm too tired, I didn't go to the gym. No problem, have a good rest, but tomorrow, matter what, even you only go for 5 minutes, have to go. I couldn't help myself, I a whole piece of. It's okay, don't blame yourself, but the next meal must be healthy meal. Why it missed twice? Because missing once is just an accident. It's an accident. But missing twice may be a new habit. A bad habit too, a break. Just like walking a flat road, as long you quickly climb up and continue to, it doesn't matter. But 2 continuous breaks, it's like you're turning. This key difference between a successful person and an and person. Everyone will have time when everyone will have a mess. But the person can rebound. The middle part of is not scary. What's is you can't go back. It get used to, then to pursue a perfect record. When we are used to, tend to fall into, of either doing everything or doing everything. Today I'm in, so I'll run 5 kilometers. Tomorrow, I feel tired, so I'll run at. This idea is cultivating habits. You didn't realize that those bad busy days, if you do a little, it's extremely valuable. Imagine the benefits and why do you bad exercise is often the most important exercise. Because they keep the previous good state. Even if you only did 10 squats today or only walked for 10 minutes, it's much than not doing it. You avoid a zero, avoid making the previous effort a big discount. For example, if you have 100 yuan, 50% becomes 150 yuan. But from 150 yuan, only need to lose 33%. It will you back 100 yuan. The first rule of welfare is never to interrupt it. Don't let it away your hard work. More importantly, persist even if you're not perfect. It is also strengthening your identity recognition. You are telling yourself that I am a will give up on exercise. It is easy, but still insist appearing. This is the purpose to really create your identity, even if you only go 5 minutes. So, next time when you have broken a certain habit please remember this golden rule. Never miss twice. Forgive your own mistake, but return to the track. Accept imperfection. Completion is more important. Allow yourself to deviate from the line, but quickly correct direction. The dealing with frustration and keeping habit willful. Hour of habits is more comprehensive, but the habit is only that. After establishing a stable habit foundation, how can we move good to good? How to maintain the momentum of rather than falling into stagnation or even retreating. Next, we will go the advanced strategy, discuss how to maintain the long-term motivation and how to constantly optimize your habits to achieve real economic growth. We have talked about how to good habits obvious, full of attraction, simple and fascinating. We also learned how to use never missing 2 times and quickly return the track. Here, we have explored before let's go back to original question, which is also core concept, slight change, really bring extraordinary results. There is called the Soria Bay theory. It a coin make people rich? Obviously not. What one more? What one more? At some point, you have to admit that that constant accumulation that ultimately causes the change in an original habit is like that. A slight change, such as meditation for a minute or reading a page of, may not immediately change your life. But when the positive changes, one, like adding sand to the horizon of will, start to slowly clear. At first, these small changes may be insignificant and even be by the old system, so that you don't feel any change. This is, we mentioned before, or potential machine-based platform. But as you persist and continue to for the direction want, one day you will reach a point. Suddenly you will find that seems easy, bad habits seems be smaller. The whole system begins to serve you instead of fighting against. The ultimate secret is not the percent of the sudden movement, but the of thousands of times. Countless tiny atomic habits together build your powerful system. Success is not a needs to, nor a cross-border finish line. It is a that needs to be constantly improved, a process endless progress. If you encounter difficulties, please remember that the problem is not you, but the you use. Now you have a powerful tool, the behavior change 4 rules. When habit is to remember, try to make it obvious. When the habit lacks motivation, try to make it attractive. When the habit is too difficult, try to make it simple. When the habit is difficult to stick to, Try to make it attractive. These 4 rules are like 4, can be adjusted repeatedly. You can constantly review your habits, see which part is the current calm, and then use the corresponding rules to optimize it. Make good habits easier, make bad habits more difficult. This is a continuous process, a continuous cycle. Always looking for the next can you improve 1%. The getting permanent change is never stop improving. Think about it. If you never stop working and improving, how great a career. If you never stop training and taking your body, how healthy you body. If you never stop learning and exploring, how much knowledge. If you never stop saving and investing, you can create such valuable wealth. If you never stop caring and giving, you can build such deep friendship. The habits will just be simple. They will the force of branch. This is the real power. I hope this 30 minutes of reading can give you deeper understanding. More importantly, it can you the start and act. Remember, change starts with the smallest atomic habit now. Small changes bring extraordinary results.